So this video is going to make a lot of people upset, and I'm probably going to get nasty comments because you're not going to like my answer. Because what's going to happen is when you watch this video, it's going to really push back against something that's going on in here, and it's going to make you feel nervous, and it's going to make you feel yucky. And it's not something that I have not done myself and we've gone through the long transition of actually doing this. And this is advice that we actually do ourselves. So should you pay off your home early or should you invest? For a long time, I thought the best option was to actually invest because you're looking at the split, right? So what you're getting in your insurance or on your mortgage, for example, on your house, you're getting about 5%. See, I've already lost you. I've said a number. 5% on your home in terms of the split of what you're actually paying, and then you get in the market something like 10%. So you have this split, right? A 5% split. And the problem with this is why it is wrong, and this is why it is very troublesome. And a lot of people do this split. Most people do this split, and they try to invest rather than paying off their mortgage. And the reason is that is a liability. So what's going to happen is at the moment when things are bad and things go bad, you lose your job, you get a divorce, you get all these kind of things, all of the negative things that you could ever imagine, they happen to people. That's why there is an army of lawyers that exists in this world. In every country, there's an army, and your divorce rate is quite high. But all of these bad things happen. So what's going to happen is when these bad things that happen, you still have to pay your mortgage. And if you don't have that option, if that is gone, then it helps you to invest. Now, the other thing that helps you do is to have a sense of security, which allows you to do more crazy and interesting things. It's part of the reason. So my wife and I, I'm going to openly disclose, we paid off our mortgage years ago now. And we did this at a very young age that sort of set a mark that by the time that we were 40, we would pay this off. And then we would allow us to do all sorts of really fun and interesting things. Now, you have to remember, when you look at this, you might be thinking, hey, that's a business professor. What does he know? He makes a lot of money, all those kind of things. You gotta remember, this is what's called an endogenous problem. I grew up, we did not have money. My parents lived in a garage for many, many years, or, like a couple of years. They lived in a garage to save to pay for their first house. And then when I went away to school, I did not have the things that you were thinking about. My parents didn't pay. They paid a couple $1,000s for me to go in my first semester, which was amazing. But I was able to do it in a lot of different ways. And what I want you to get at, and I want you to stress, is that paying down your debts, paying off your mortgage, doing all those sort of very simple things, those are liabilities, and they cost you a tremendous amount in the long run. Now, I know that some of you feel like you can't do this. This is the thing that you need to change inside. This is where it's really hard, and that's why you get angry with it. So you have to make a lot of choices that are going on in here, right? This part of the brain is totally different than this part. You know what the rationalization part of the brain is and how that actually works, and you're going to rationalize things and give all sorts of numbers and all that kind of stuff. I guarantee it. And you're going to go and do these things, excuse me, that don't affect what's going on here. You have to fix this part. This part is what actually makes a lot of choices in your life. Oh, excuse me. Makes a lot of choices in your, but you never seen people cough on the internet before. Okay, you make a lot of choices with this, and we need to fix this. We need to get to the moment where you're feeling good about yourself. And so what does that mean? It requires you to turn off some of the things that you think that are making you feel good and look at other things that are less expensive that allow you to do good things. And it's really finding that combination, that right mix where you turn some stuff off and you work on this. It's a really, really big thing to work on this before you can actually start doing other things like paying off your loans and things like that are very, very important to do and they're very challenging to actually do. It is super challenging. It's hard. It's the equivalent, and it's probably harder to pay these things down than it is to lose some weight in your life. And so what do you need to do? You need to work on the things that are going on both in your head and in your heart at the same time. And that might actually be, in some circumstances, right? Like, a lot of people don't lose weight by themselves. They get a coach, they get medication, they sometimes get operations. This is where you have to think about, what does it mean? How do I make these changes so that I could do things that's more solid in my life? Now, I'm not going to expect everybody to go and do this kind of stuff, but it requires you to work on this, is what I'm saying. Work on it, that you as a family are building the strength inside, not only just as a family, but yourself, right? They're building the strength inside where you can say no, you're confident, you can walk ahead despite if somebody is like really angry at you. You get to say, okay, I can walk forward. And that's what I'm going to build, is that strength inside that, yeah, lots of people are not going to be happy with what I'm doing, but I'm going to walk forward anyways, because that's an important thing for all of us to learn, is to walk forward towards fixing a lot of these things. So I don't want you to work on any of the number stuff. That's not what I'm going to do, and that's not what I'm going to say. What I want you to do is solve what is going on inside that makes you think that you need to get those things. And sometimes it requires you to communicate openly with your friends. Sometimes it requires you to, and actually often is, that's a big thing. If you can talk openly with your friends about this, then you can solve a lot of problems that are going on in your life. Until you can get to that moment where you're like, all right, I'm going to just talk about it, it ain't going to happen. You need to feel detached from the stigma that you put on it. And once you do that, when you feel good about yourself and all the other things that are going on, then you can make a lot of progress. Then you can come to the number stuff. But until that point, really fix what's going on here. Really, really work on that. Whatever is driving you towards all these things, you got to learn how to just, it's fine. You don't need it. It doesn't matter. You can live in a tent and you'll be fine, right? Like, you need to get to that point where you just are like, so what? It doesn't matter. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.